Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Rachel. If you're new here, welcome. Thank you so much for joining. If you wanted to see how to get this look and just using products that I have already in my collection that aren't new, some maybe are a little bit newer, but nothing brand new. I just wanted to do a little shop my stash. So if you want to see how to get this look, then just keep watching. All right, so I have my foundation on. So I use this one all the time, so I didn't even bother filming it, but this is the Glossier Light 2, the stretch foundation. And underneath that, I have, as usual, Caliray primer. I have the MAC paint pot in soft ochre on my eyes. And I put this, I sprayed this before I did my foundation as well. I find this has been helping me. Instead of using this one, I realized this is why I was getting so greasy, because this is a glowy mist. So I use this one instead because it has niacinamide in it, and I've really been liking it. So for concealer, I think I'm going to go in with this guy because I haven't used this on camera in a while. This is the Makeup by Mario Surreal Skin Awakening Concealer, and I have the shade 140. So we'll go in with that guy. And I'm still finding that one to be a little bit drying under the eyes, and it's probably because I set it, but I have to set my concealer. I know that one is kind of like self-setting, but can't do it. I can't do it. So I'm going to try to put a very little amount of powder under the eye and see if that helps. And just getting the dog hair off my beauty blender. Find her hair in the most random places. Anyways, okay, so let's go in with this concealer. And I try not to put too much because I do find it does give quite a bit of coverage. And I just don't want it to be too dry looking under the eye. It's about that much. I've already wet my sponge. And this one I almost have to wet even more because I feel like I'm so used to using my Tower 28, which just spreads so quickly and evenly, that this one feels so dry when I'm blending it out because it's just got like a drier texture. It's not that serum texture. So I feel like I really have to like wet my sponge even more. But do you see when I'm trying to blend it, it's definitely harder to blend than what I'm used to, that Tower 28. And even Natasha Denona is more like a gel serum type concealer. And I think I might even grab a brush just to kind of smooth out those under eyes. There's my concealer brush. There we go. So just kind of smooth out any lines under the eye. And then go with the powder. Just going in with my trusty little sponge, and I put way too much powder, so I'm dabbing it off on my hand here. And even that was probably too much, even though I wiped it off. I think I did try this one without powder, and I didn't like the way that it looked, so. Or the way that it's set, I should say. But I do like it. I do feel like it does give some of that brightening to the under eye. You can still see a little bit of darkness, of course, but I didn't use color corrector, so that's what happens. But I do find it does have a tiny bit more coverage than the Tower 28. I found my eyes looking a little bit darker. I'm sorry if you can hear that. He is sick again. Good times. Living with a teacher. Anywho. So I did wet my sponge a little bit more this time. And I do feel like that helped a bit. So how was everyone's Thanksgiving? If you're in the US, hopefully good. Just give me 1 second. Sorry, my dog just woke up. I just wanted to let her out of the room. So I finished my other eye. And now I will go over the face with that same powder. It's just the Givenchy, the usual Prisme Libre. And just kind of go over my cheeks and then my forehead. And then I do like to go over my nose with the Nars powder, the pressed powder, because that's where I get oily. Sometimes I'll add just a tiny bit to the center of my forehead too. So what have you guys been buying for Black Friday? Anything exciting? I know Sephora has a ton of sales going on right now. Okay, I feel like that just smooths out the wrinkles on my forehead, like they just disappear. And then I will go on my chin. This one I find is more a setting powder. It's not gonna like keep me not dry, but it's not gonna keep me from getting oily. So that's why I add just a tiny bit of the pressed powder. And I took way too much, so I'm just gonna put that back. Okay, so we're done with that. I am gonna take that powder, like I said. Where is it? Yeah, so Sephora has some good stuff. They have Tarte blushes, or like those Amazonian clay blushes. I used to be obsessed with them. They're like $20. I'm in Canada, so they're probably even cheaper in the US. But I believe that's 50% off. And just the center of my forehead, just a tiny bit. I don't want to be like over powdered, but I just like to keep that spot nice and matte. So I'm gonna go in with the newest bronzer that I have, the Pat McGrath. And I'm going to also mix just the tiniest bit of the Sephora collection bronzed bronzer in the shade Mallorca. This one here. So I'm gonna first go in with this one because it's a little bit lighter. The Pat McGrath, and this is in the shade Naked Desire. I'd mentioned in my last video, it's just a tiny bit, I want to say too light because you can build it up, but for my preference, I would have liked maybe one shade darker. But I don't want to return it or anything because I still like it. But yeah, I do just really kind of build this one up. I'm ruining my hair. Gotta really get it out of my face here. But yeah, I hope you all had a great Thanksgiving. We had ours back at the beginning of October. I wonder why we have, like, why aren't they at the same time? I don't know. I'm sure there is a reason. I'm just not a historian here. Okay, I'm just gonna fix that. It's funny because sometimes I'll be like, oh, I can't really see this bronzer, and then all of a sudden I look in a different mirror and I'm like, oh my gosh, I look so tanned. So I guess the lighting in here is quite different. This is natural lighting. I mean, I have my actual light on and then natural lighting. For once, I'm filming during the day. But I'm gonna get ready to go. I have to do a little bit of Christmas shopping, which is probably gonna be a nightmare. But luckily I'm doing like a bunch of curbside pickups, so. Just go in with a tiny bit more. Ugh. It's another reason why we're separate. Stay away. It's not COVID. Thank goodness. Okay, so I think that's enough for the Pat McGrath bronzer. And then, like I said, I'm going to take a little bit of that Sephora collection bronzer and just go. I think this one's actually good for the jawline because sometimes I go a little too heavy-handed on the jaw. But because this one's lighter, I don't find I do that as easily with this one. So we'll go in with this guy and just add just the tiniest bit to the forehead. And why not just always forget to do my nose, and I do think that that definitely looks more natural because that's where the sun hits and that's where you're gonna tan. So if you do want to see a declutter, tell me what you want to see. Bronzers, blushes, shadows, because I have to do both. Okay, I think we are sufficiently bronzed. And now I'm just going to blend it out a bit. So with nothing is on the brush, just a powder brush. Okay, so now I want to do a blush that I haven't used in quite some time. I either wanted to do this guy, which I used the other day, and I was like, I forgot how much I think it's so pretty, or Tarte Exposed, because these are on sale right now, and this used to be one of my absolute favorite blushes. It's a little bit older. I'm like, should I replace it? But it's brand new. Like, it's brand new and it hasn't been used very much. Or this guy, which is Mocha. I don't know which one to use. They're all very similar, but different. So here they are. I think we'll go in with a tiny bit of these two. So we'll first go in with number 10. I believe it's called Intimate from Armani. Just using a Real Techniques brush. I always use these for my blush. This is a different one. I think this is a multitask brush, but I use it for blush. And the eyeshadow palette I want to use, I have used in a video, and it's probably almost the exact same eye look, but I did it the other day and I was like, this looks so pretty. And I forgot how much I liked that palette. You'll see in a second. and a little bit more intimate. Again, my face eats blush, so I put on what seems like an absolute ton. I also really like this blush and these blushes from Essence, but maybe I could save that for like a dupes video if you wanted to see that, because I feel like that would be a dupe of this MAC blush. So we'll put on a little bit of Mocha now. I've spoken about this before, but I'm on this group, in this Facebook group. Does anybody still use Facebook? Tell me. I do. I'm old. But I'm in this beauty chit chat Facebook group with Lisa J. And it's just so fun. Like, you just ask a question. People love showing new products. People will post sales in there. But yeah, it's just nice to have like a little community of people, and everybody's so nice. Like, you'll never see a negative comment in there, which is a nice change from, you know, Instagram. Or does anybody use Threads? I don't really use it. Or X, formerly known as Twitter. I don't use that either. Used to. Okay, I think we're all blushed up. That was quite a bit. And I'm just going to blend that a little bit. Okay, so now we're gonna go in with this one. I use quite a bit, but I can't help it. Peach Quartz from Haus Labs. And if I miss something in the description, I'm sorry. I do try to follow my video just to make sure I don't forget to add anything, but sometimes I might forget. But I'll always be saying what I'm using in the video. So there's the highlight. I think I was like sleeping on my mask because I feel like I have like little sleep mask marks on my face. So I think off camera I'm gonna do just my nose contour quickly, and then I will be back to do the eyes. Okay, so I just went ahead and used the 24-hour brow setter gel. I use this all the time. I thought that'd be kind of boring to watch, so I just put that in my brows, and then I went underneath, so just to kind of underline the brows, with the Maybelline Brow Express Brow Ultra Slim, I can't speak, Ultra Slim Pencil in the shade Blonde, number 250. So that's this one here. And then I did also buy the Brow Powder Duo in the shade Taupe. So I'm gonna use this after I do my eyes. And we're going to be using the Lisa Eldridge Vega palette. I haven't used this in a very long time. I mean, besides the other day, but on camera especially. So the first shade I'm going to be going in with is French Gray, which is this shade here. And let's just see what brush I'm going to use. I did find that I was getting a little bit of hard pan right here and here, so I did use the tape to see if that could kind of help a bit, and it seemed to have helped. But just be aware that that could be a thing. I mean, I think I get hard pan a lot too because I use the paint pot, and then I think because I'm going back in from my eye back into the shadow, I think the paint pot sometimes like just oils from the paint pot, maybe, I'm not sure. Or I just really need to give my brushes a good clean, which is probably the case. So I'm probably going to do one eye on camera, the other eye will go ahead and do off. But yeah, I really like this palette, and I better because it was expensive. And then I'm going to go in with a smaller brush. And this is Makeup by Ariel. Cannot read it anymore. A25 maybe. And then we're going to go in with the shade Turbulence, which is that darker brown. And another one I want to use is the Glam palette. I haven't used the Glam palette in forever. And I think I'm planning on doing maybe next weekend like a sophisticated holiday look for Christmas or New Year's. Let me know if that sounds interesting. I don't know which palette I'm going to use. Maybe I could use the Glam palette because I haven't in so long, but yeah. So like you can't really see a whole ton of color. I can see it in person, but it doesn't look too dark. So I'm just going to go in with that gray, French gray again. I mean, you can see something, can't you? I don't know. I feel like you do have to kind of be a little bit heavy-handed with these. They do go on quite soft. And then I'm going to go in with my eyeliner, and I have to find it right in front of my face. I did just go in with a bit of a denser brush in the crease, and I did get a little bit more depth with that. So I think it's just the brush can't speak, I was using was a little bit too fluffy and not dense enough to actually add that pigment. So I'm going to go in with the Victoria Beckham Ash, and I know I use this one all the time, but I can't help it. It's beautiful. I really should get another one of these, but is there still a sale? I don't know. I love this color though, and Cocoa. Okay, so this one is very smooth, so I find you can really just work with it easily as long as you work with it before it sets down, because once it sets, then it's set. So I'm going to go in with that, I believe it is Smoke and Mirrors shade, which is that kind of bluey tone. And I'm going in with a angled brush, and I really just want to kind of pull that out and give that elongated look to the eye. And I don't want my liner to be too thick, so I only went like 3/4 of the way, and I'm pulling it in with the brush. So I didn't add any liner to the inner corner. I just really wanted to use the shadow for that. I think the first time I used this in my video, my liner was really thick, and I just prefer kind of like a more elongated look these days. And so I'm sorry. Yeah, so I just prefer the look of this a little bit better now. And then I like to use that kind of sparkly shade. It is called, not Moon Swirl, Supernova, this guy right here. And I just go in with my finger. Oh my gosh, my dog. She's jumping off the step. There's only 3 stairs. But she just flies off of there. So just adding that tiny bit of sparkle in the corner. And I did wear this guy on my lids too not too long ago, and I thought it looked super pretty, which is that moon swirl color. So now I'm going to just curl my lashes. Does anyone ever feel like it's painful to curl your lashes? And it's like, it's not even that I'm catching any skin in there. It's almost just like the base of my lashes. It hurts, and I don't know why. Today it didn't. It's the weirdest thing, I don't understand. Okay, so again with Ash, just gonna go in the waterline. And I'm gonna go ahead and do the other eye, and I'll be back to do the brows. All right, so eyes are done. Mascara is going on. I'm using the one I haven't used in a long time, but I always love, and I always go back to, CoverGirl Exhibitionist. I actually noticed that the Too Faced Chocolate is on sale, and I might pick that one up. That's the brown, Better Than Sex. Because I remember loving that mascara, but don't use it under the eye because I remember that one smudging pretty bad. But I don't think any problems on the top lashes. You can see I made a mess already on my lid. That's fine. Wonder if Victoria Beckham is still on sale. I'm thinking about Ash now. Every time I say that, I think of Emily Noel, because every time she uses an ash shade color, she always says, "Nice ash." She's so cute. She always makes me laugh. And I just find her channel is so easy to watch and like very wholesome. So I really like her. Should have probably included her in my video last week. The I Was Influenced video, because I feel like she has influenced me to buy a lot of different products. Okay, so I'm gonna do my other eye, and then we'll be back for brows. I just wanted to show you which mascara I was using. So you could tell it does give quite a bit of volume. And I feel like it's one that you can kind of build on, but it doesn't get super like crusty or overly chunky. Like I feel like you can just keep kind of building on it. Okay, so I did my mascara. I'm just filling in my brow right now with this powder, and I do feel like this has given my brows a little bit more of a, I don't want to say natural because I don't necessarily think they look natural, but a softer look. And I'll just go ahead and do this side. I feel like my brows are a little more sparse on this side, so it might be a little bit harder to make it look as full. I mean, I probably should have gotten a tiny bit of a darker shade, but that was the whole point, that I want them to look soft, so that's why I went with taupe. I initially was going to go with blonde, and I'm like, okay, I think this is way too light, because even this one, like, I don't really use that as much as this side. So I'm just kind of filling in all the little gaps there. And then if I need to go in anywhere with the pen, I'll just literally just do a couple strokes with the pen. But I think that kind of was the problem. Don't get me wrong, I love the pen, but I just feel like it's inconsistent. Gosh, what is wrong with me? My hands are so itchy right now. Does that mean I'm gonna win the lottery? Okay. I will perfect them after and maybe add just a tiny bit of the pen if I need to. I feel like maybe in the front I need to just a tiny bit, but I think for now we're probably okay. And so I'm gonna do the lips. And for the lips, I've been enjoying using my Westman Atelier little stick in Biscuit, but not to contour the face, to contour the lips. So I'm gonna go in with this tiny little a Real Techniques brush again, a little, I don't know if this is a lip brush or not. It says detailer brush, so I guess it could be eyes or lips. And then I just go around my lips, and I feel like it blends so much better with my lip liner. My lips look so tight right now because they're literally, you know, so dry, as I like to always tell you. Nothing seems to help. Maybe I should just use straight up Vaseline. But this is the side that really needs help, because even though I do have, it's like my lip is there, but the pigment isn't. So it looks like this side is so much smaller because I have literally no pigment there. So yeah, just a little contour around the lips. Make it look like I have lips. I think I'm just too scared to do the lip filler. Just seen too many people that are like, and I'm like, not that there's anything wrong with it. I mean, that's whatever anybody likes, that's your body, you do what you want. But I know some people can get a little bit carried away with it. So this is the Marcel Velvet Gel Pencil, and this is in the shade Buff Nude. So now I'm going along my actual lip line. And I find it just kind of blends together better. This is a nice color. But I think y'all know I'm so wrapped up with my NYX Nude Beige. Haven't really given anything else much of a chance. Which is kind of why I wanted to do this video, just shop my stash, use stuff I have, but don't use as much as I maybe should. Okay, so I think we're good for that. I'm gonna use this guy, the Anastasia Beverly Hills lipstick in the shade Haze. So this one is a bit more moisturizing, which my lips could use at the moment. You see, they're like getting stuck. There we go. And then I just add just the slightest touch of Gucci Carol Beige. And when I talk about Carol Beige, I mean the matte one. I do have one that's not matte, but it's not the same color. Same name, different color. It's like pigment is not going on my lips there. There we go. I'm like, what's happening? Right. So I'm just going to fix my hair and kind of perfect my brows a little bit more, and I will be back. Whoops. All right, so that is the completed look. I feel like I did kind of fix the brows a tiny bit, but I was trying not to add too much of the pen because the pen is the problem. Okay, so I also wanted to show you this, which I don't know if I've talked about, but this is the Twist of Slate palette by ColourPop, and I feel like you can get almost the identical look using this palette. So this is very similar to French Gray. This one is kind of close to Turbulence, maybe a little bit lighter, so you could kind of go in with this deeper shade maybe, which is called Sleek Over. And then for the sparkly shade, you could go in with this Mica. But I do feel like there's definitely a resemblance. I'm not going to say it's exactly the same, but ColourPop does have some really nice pigment. Just want to show you the two together. If I can open this. There is a resemblance for sure. So there's no black, but you do have that dark gray. So it doesn't look super similar like the French Gray. You could see looks much darker than that shade I was pointing to, but on the eye, I feel like you can get a very, very similar look. If you wanted to see me dupe this, I can do that for you, but I feel like you can get super, super similar look with that. But I have to say I do love this palette. I just do. Just the shipping was astronomical to Canada. So if you're in the States, it's probably much more reasonable. But yeah, I think that is everything. If there's anything you want to see, please, I'm all ears. I do want to know. I don't really hear from many people what they're interested in seeing, but I would love to know. And I would love to fulfill your request. So thank you so much for watching, and I love ya. And just be well. Bye.